Hey loves, it's Belinda, Selene, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am going to share with you guys some prep meals that you can stock in your freezer. That way, whenever you need them, they're ready to go. I will be 38 weeks pregnant in 2 days, and I really wanted to prepare myself. So I got all of my ingredients from Aldi's, and I'm going to show you guys several different meals that you can make. I'm going to start off by sharing with you guys what I do to prepare to make a batch of different meals at one time. That way you don't feel overwhelmed with all the recipes and how to save time. If you guys want to see specific recipes, I will have timestamps down in the comments below. That way you guys can just skip to whatever recipe it is that you want to try out. So the first thing that I do is I just make myself a grocery list based off the recipes that I'm going to be using. You can do this on a piece of paper. I just wanted to use my iPad because that way I can see from my phone and back and forth, and then I can also have inventory listed on there once I'm done making all the recipes. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to boil all of the chicken together combined in all of the recipes. So I'm doing a big batch. I'm going to save that broth and use it in a later dish later on, and I'll show you guys how I make chicken soup. But for right now, we are just going to boil it so that way I can shred it and add it to other recipes. So I'm putting all of that chicken in a big pot of water, making sure that it covers all the way to the top, and then boiling it for an hour on its own. To give your chicken some flavor while it's boiling, you can add whatever seasoning you'd like. I always just go for something very simple like onion and salt. You can add anything else that you usually add to it. You just want there to be some kind of seasoning on there because otherwise it's going to taste really bland, even though it's in sauces and other juices based on whatever it is that you're cooking. While the chicken is boiling, I'm going to start peeling and cutting all of the veggies that I need necessary for the rest of the recipes. So I'll go based off whatever recipes I have, and for example, if it says 1 potato, 2 potatoes, I'll just go ahead and start cutting those up. And in that hour, you can get so much done. You can also clean in between. So I had plenty of time to cut all of the veggies and get them ready so that way I could just transfer them as I'm putting them together in a freezer Ziploc bag. I also put on a podcast and I was snacking on some frozen grapes. It was just a good day. I tried to make it as less stressful as possible because I was standing up all day and it was a little bit tough to get all these recipes done because later at night I did some more, but I didn't get a chance to film them. But yes, so far so good. Once the hour is up, I'm just taking out all of the chicken out of the broth. That way I can start letting it cool down and then separating it and shredding it to add to the other recipes. But now I'm going to share with you guys how I make my caldo de pollo, my chicken veggie soup, and it is so tasty and so easy to do on days when I just don't have time to sit there over a stove because I'm tired. This is my go-to recipe. I'm going to be using disposable freezer bags and a Sharpie to write on the front what it is that's in there, because once it's frozen it's hard to tell what you have in there, along with the reheating instructions in case it's somebody else who's going to be reheating the food for you, so that way Ricardo can do it and I could be with the baby. This is one of my favorite go-to recipes, especially in the wintertime when you want a warm cup of soup. And all you have to do is boil your chicken for about 45 minutes, and then the last 15 minutes is when you add the veggies in. So we already went ahead and we boiled the chicken. This is just extra chicken that I'm going to be using in other recipes, but you want to use at least 2 pounds of chicken, and then you're going to go ahead and add your veggies. The broth already is seasoned with salt and onion when we boiled our chicken, but I like to add additional seasonings on there, and you could use whatever it is that makes you feel comfortable. Some people don't really like adding too much flavor of different kinds, but I just have some spices that I know that I love, and then I'll go ahead, shred the chicken, and put it back in there. I also like to use a bag of cauliflower instead of pasta. It's a lot healthier, and you can't even tell the difference. This is a meal that I've often put in the freezer with so many leftovers from this huge pot, and what I like to do is I like to put them inside of like the smaller freezer bags, and I just put the date on there. And once you're ready to reheat it, all you have to do is let it thaw for a couple of hours in the fridge, and then you could put it straight in a pot and just warm it up. And it's so easy and fast. It's one of my favorites. Next we have lentil soup, and let me just tell you, I did not like eating lentil soup growing up, but after making this recipe, I really enjoyed it, and it comes from one of my favorite recipe books that includes all slow cooker meals. So I'm going to simply add all the ingredients in there. You don't have to pre-make anything, and it's a great option if you're vegetarian. Quick tip, if you have vegetables that are about to go bad, make sure that you chop them up and then put them in a freezer bag. That way you can use them in future recipes. For example, the red bell pepper, which I had from last week, and I didn't want it to go to waste, so I just froze it, and it came in handy for this recipe. These next two recipes are from one of my girlfriends here on YouTube. She has her own YouTube channel. Her name is Tiffany Beeston, and I just modified the recipes a little bit to whatever ingredients I had on hand. But I've tried these, I love them, they're husband approved, and I just love her channel. If you guys haven't checked her out, make sure you do, because she has a little bit of everything, cleaning and cooking, and she definitely motivates me to try new things in the kitchen. This is another one of my favorite recipes from Tiffany's channel, and the reason why I love this is because you can serve this on a toasted piece of bread or French bread and put some butter on it, and then you add mozzarella cheese on top like the last maybe 5 minutes once it's done cooking, and it melts on there. It tastes like a roast beef sandwich. It's so delicious and good. This is my husband's favorite, and I made this several times and absolutely love it. Next up, we have this recipe, which I have not tasted yet, but based off the reviews and comments that I found on Pinterest, it's a really good one, especially if you love cheese and pasta. We're huge fans of comfort food, so I know this is definitely something that we are going to enjoy. We do have 2 refrigerators where I'm going to store all of these freezer meals, and they were already here when we bought the house, so we were just making the most out of them now. But let me show you guys how I have them for right now. So I do have the majority of them up here, and then I transferred some downstairs because we ran out of space. So this is how I have them up here, and then I have these separators, which is nice because these are just like things that I still use on a daily basis, like spinach and stuff that I put in my smoothies. And then of course frozen grapes. We love frozen grapes, so I wash them and I store them in here, and then when we want to snack at night we just grab one of these and we eat them. And then the rest of the items are packaged tightly here for the rest of the freezer meals, and I have like salsa, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like downstairs. And then in this fridge is where I have the rest of the things, and I also have some quick snacks that we can eat, like pizza, and also like garlic bread that we can include with some of the pasta that we eat, or just other things. And then in here is where I have some more of the freezer meals, and then down here is also where I have smoothies. I will be sharing with you guys how I make my smoothies in my next video, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on that, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Muchos besos. Mwah.
Now all the nights seem so overrated. What was it worth? I can't take back, I can't stop feeling